Welcome to the Iowa State Sportsman Show. I'm your host, Ben Tutman.
I'm Kyle Wood.
And I'm Nick Johnson.
Changing up the game plan this week on the ice fishing. Got a couple different trips that we think you're going to enjoy. First off, we got some trout fishing, and later on in the show, we're going to show you a special trip that we took up just this past weekend. But Nick, first let's get to the trout fishing trip that we did a week ago.
Yeah, it took place on Lake Patoka, which is just east of Des Moines. It's actually more or less a mid-sized pond. But we went after some rainbow trout that the DNR stocks in this pond. Bite was kind of slow to start off. We figured out that they were biting real well on a bare hook and a minnow suspended off the bottom, and we caught some decent fish. Made for a good trip, so stay tuned for the footage. What we got going on here today, we're fishing a small pond here in Iowa, stocked with rainbow trout. Like what Tony's doing, we're in about 20 foot of water, and he's got a little crappie minnow on a bare hook and a bobber, suspended anywhere from 4 to 8 foot off the bottom. The trout kind of come through in waves, so it's more or less a waiting game. But it's been working out pretty well. Tony, you've almost got your limit so far today.
Yeah, I got 4 over here in the corner.
4 trout, and been having some pretty solid action. Be good on the grill later.
Nice trout. Right about 10 inches. I like how this trout here on just a crappie minnow on a plain hook, fishing about 10 feet down in 20 feet of water. Oh yeah.
Pull your rod down a little bit.
A little better trout. Again, caught on just a plain crappie minnow on a plain hook, about 10 feet down in 20 feet of water.
Oh no, oh god. She's running. Ha Nice little trout.
Uh-oh. Okay. There we go. That little trout that time.
Here he comes.
Nice.
This little rainbow trout. Fathead minnow, about 20 foot of water, 4 foot off the bottom.
Guys, that was a fun day of fishing, and Kyle, that trout fishing was something a little different for you.
Yeah, I'd never been trout fishing before, let alone in the ice. I think I've caught about 2 trout my entire life. So that was definitely pretty fun. The thing I noticed is it was a lot like crappie fishing in that we were fishing suspended fish with a crappie minnow and a bare hook. And those trout just kind of cruised around all day, and we just had to wait for them to come through and bite.
Absolutely. Well, we found out also that you have to set the hook right away due to the shape of the trout's mouth and the way they take the bait. And we found out after we missed a few fish, finally started catching them, that it really worked.
Yeah, I wish you would have told me that a lot sooner before I missed like 9 fish or something like that. But the best part about that whole day was getting to cook them up afterwards.
Yeah, they made for a good meal. And we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we're going to have the Iowa State Sportsman Show in the kitchen cooking up trout for you. Keep it here.
First thing we're going to do here is make the filling for the trout. So I'm going to take some butter.
We're doing about 5 trout, so we're going to need enough to fill the cavities of 5 mid-sized trout. That should be good. Take some Old Bay seasoning. Some lemon pepper. You can never overdo it on the lemon pepper. Italian breadcrumbs. What this will do is it'll soak up some of the juices when it's in the trout so that they don't run everywhere, and it actually gives it a really nice flavor. We're going to take some of the minced garlic. You're going to want to mix this all up before it goes into the trout. So now we've got our filler stuff mixed up to go inside the trout. And you want to make sure when you get the trout that you clean out all the organs out of the inside of the body cavity and all the gills from the head. Wash it out nice and clean. This is a little brown trout that I caught earlier this summer, but we also have some of the rainbows from our fishing trip that will fix up nicely. So Kyle, why don't you come in? I'm gonna have your help, and we're gonna fill these with some spread. So basically what we're gonna do here, Kyle, is take a spoonful of our butter and our mixture that we mixed up and pack the inside of the trout's cavity. Pretty simple. Just get a nice spoonful, lay it in there. That's about all there is to it. So packing these full of butter enables all the juices to kind of seep out when we're cooking them in the tin foil and gives it a real nice flavor. And the butter helps to cook from the inside out too, so you get a nice even texture of the meat all the way through. Got them piled up on the plate now. It's time to wrap them in tin foil and get them ready for the grill. You're gonna want to get a sheet of tin foil roughly half the size bigger than the trout you plan to put it in. So we got a couple big guys there. That big brown especially. Lay it out flat. Take your trout, and it's okay to put more than one trout in a tinfoil pouch, so I'm gonna get another big one here. Kyle's rainbow. A lot of times it's good to lay them belly to belly like this because the butter and all the seasoning will flow in between the two of them. So we're gonna take that. We're actually gonna sprinkle some more seasoning over them. So I'm gonna take some of my lemon pepper. A little more Old Bay. And now, you want to fold up the ends first. Followed by the sides. And we're actually going to take another piece of tin foil to lay over the top because we want this to be a sealed chamber. That's all it takes. This is ready for the grill.
What's snow goose taste like?
Pass. Coals are nice and warm. It's time to put the trout on. We're going to leave them on here for about 3 to 4 minutes aside, and we're going to turn it 3-4 more minutes, pull them off, and they'll be ready to eat. Got about 4 minutes on the first side. Now we're going to flip them over. Like so. Smell that butter seeping out of there. Trout are all done now. We're going to pull them off, take them upstairs, and enjoy. We're going to cut these open and check out how the trout looks inside. Oh yeah. All that nice butter in there. The nice thing about these trout is the skin will just come away. You can just take it like that and just... I'll get in there and try that.
You sure?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So as you can see, cooking these trout like this on the grill in tinfoil is a really, really simple way to cook trout. It's also delicious, so next time you get into some trout, try this recipe.
Green, green, green. It's your home, it's your dream. Radon testing, keep it healthy and clean. Make it green, green, green. Making it green is making sure the air in your home is healthy for your family to breathe. Make sure you test your home for the presence of radon. It's easy. To learn more, call 866-730-GREEN. Preserve your family's health and well-being. Get your home tested. Now that's living healthy and green. Green, green, green. It's your home, it's your dream. Radon testing, keep it healthy and clean. Make it green, green, green. To learn more, call 866-730-GREEN.
Hands can do incredible things. Now they can even help save a life with hands-only CPR. If you see an adult suddenly collapse, just call 911, then push hard and fast in the center of the chest until help arrives. Learn more at handsonlycpr.org.
Welcome back to the Iowa State Sportsman Show. This past weekend, took a trip up to Lake Mille Lacs in central Minnesota with the Iowa State Fishing Club. We had a real good time, so let's take a look.
Look at this expensive gas grill we got going on.
Yeah, guys, this is like 3 times better than what we were in. This is nice.
Doesn't look like it's gonna fall apart at least.
Looking for
There it is.
love.com. It all starts with dating.
Yeah, nice one.
Cupid.com. And now, dating is even easier on the new. What did I think of that? Cupid.com.
Oh yeah, now he's fighting. Nice and lax too will be. Somehow a little pink jig. 32 feet of water. We're cleaning them.
Hey, go get a minnow.
What happens with this?
Gross, man.
Gross.
Do it. Do
Delicious.
Little cat, Kyle.
Crazy.
Little cat?
It's stuck on your tooth.
That way.
Well, we're just gonna
That's where the hump is.
jump all the way down.
Yeah.
Until we find some fish, and if that doesn't work, we might have to cross out in the main flats. Yeah, there's that hump up there, but on the outside here, there's like kind of nice, it stacks up real tight on the edge over here when it comes out that point. So I think we'll just kind of start drilling here, just work that way.
Start drilling right here.
Yeah, like first hole here, and then we'll just kind of zigzag and start going. Nice. Start scooping them, start jigging.
Let's do it.
Oh, we got a nice little walleye here. Jigging a buckshot spoon in about 29 feet of water. I was watching him down there. He just kind of was messing with me. I missed him twice, but he came back.
We're using a jigging spoon and a minnow head. Not that I was hoping it was a walleye, but it's close. But jigging up 2 feet off the bottom, real slow, and he came and ate it. That's almost a jumbo. You could almost eat that.
There's another one. I was just kind of riding up. There's some fight. Another little walleye here today. Not a bad looking little fish. On the buckshot spoon again with a minnow head.
Great way to cover water on a big lake like we are on now on Lake Mille Lacs is using the tip up. And one of the things we like to do is put tip ups in key points where fish travel through so we can continue jigging around the rest of the structure and see if we can't find fish. So what we're going to do is we're sitting right on the very tip of a point right now, about 35 feet of water. During the high skies like this, a lot of walleyes move out deep. So we're going to take my tip up. I got about a 2-foot leader on here, fluorocarbon 8-pound test. Then I got a big extra wide gap Gamakatsu hook on here so I can use my shiner minnow. And we're just going to set that about 1 foot off the bottom and see if we can't let it soak for a while and catch us a big old walleye. So the way I like to hook up my minnow on a tip up is right behind the dorsal fin. A lot of people I see hook a minnow right through the head or right behind the head. Usually what that does is it causes the minnow to hang vertical, which doesn't look natural at all. And a lot of times there's a lot of nerves and the spinal cord right there. And if you clip that, then the minnow is pretty much paralyzed and he won't swim at all. So by going behind the dorsal fin, just a little back, and you just barely want to hook it through the skin, that'll cause that minnow to swim nice and horizontal and look really, really tasty.
I don't think he's very big. Perch! Yeah, fish. Alright, this is a little tulipy that I got down here up here in Mille Lacs. I was using a little gill pill with a couple wax worms, and he bit and I reeled him on.
What we're doing today is we're jigging spoons. Caught a few perch and a few tulipy. We're sitting in about 32 feet of water. There's a big flat over here, and we're just off of a submerged hump.
Ooh.
We're marking quite a few fish.
Oh yeah, fish.
Double.
Ooh.
Double.
Let's have school come through.
These are tangled.
Nice one.
I'm calling the camera.
I got you. You got me.
Fish on.
You had me.
Oh, got off. Damn. Oh yeah, nice little perch. Lax is full of those little things.
They had a good year class a couple years ago, and there are quite a few about this size.
As you can see, we're using an underwater camera here.
Big fish there. Look at the size of that perch.
So you can see what's biting our lures. Trying to keep away from the small ones. What do you think of the day, Tony?
It's a little cold. Fish are biting a little bit.
You have any luck today, Tony?
Yeah, I caught a tulipy about the size of yours.
Yeah, what were you using today?
A little gill pill with 2 wax worms.
Nice. How deep were you fishing today, Tony?
About 1 foot off the bottom.
Yeah. Tony's one of our better fishermen in the club here.
Yeah, folks, sometimes she gets busy on the ice road. Got a little bit of a traffic jam. Hi folks, Kyle Wood here for Iowa State Sportsman Show. You know, when I'm out ice fishing, there's only one thing I need, and that's a Blair Sportsman. Gets me from A to B, no problems, never been stuck, and she's pretty quick. She also spins when it's icy. Don't got the chains on today. And you know folks, this weekend showed us that certain baits are better certain times of the year. You know, spoons are good. Jigs, tubes, you know, baits in the water.
Tony.
On three. 1, 2, 3.
We're the Iowa State Fishing Club.
And you're watching the Iowa State Sportsman Show.
Take two, do it again.
We're doing it. Hey,
more confident.
more confident and louder.
We're the Iowa State Fishing Club.
And you're watching the Iowa State Sportsman Show.
Come on, Tony.
Go, Tony, one more and do it louder.
We're the Iowa State Fishing Club.
And you're watching the Iowa State Sportsman Show.
You should have left.
No, no.
Ruined it.
Well, Kyle, we didn't get into those big walleyes we were looking for, but it still was a fun trip.
Yeah, we had a blast. The only thing that hurt us was there's a big high pressure system, which made for really, really nice weather. We definitely got some sun, but otherwise, fish didn't really want to bite. There's a big festival up there called Perch Fest that they have at the end of the season. So there's probably, I don't know, 1,000 people out trying to catch perch. So pretty much every spot on the lake was covered with fishermen. A lot of pressure on the lake, caught a bunch of fish, really, really small perch, as you saw. But it was definitely a fun time.
Yeah, and that's going to bring us to this week's in-depth segment.
Welcome to this week's in-depth segment on the Iowa State Sportsman Show. Today we're going to take a look at our trip to Lake Mille Lacs, which is located right here in central Minnesota. It's about an hour and 20 minutes north of the Twin Cities. And now if we could take a look at an aerial photo of the lake, you can see right here is Big Point. That's where we came off of. Our ice house was actually located right around in here, right off of a deep flat. But we did most of our fishing away from that actual ice house, down here in the southern part and kind of up in the northwest part of the lake. The lake's actually split up. It's got a lot of diverse structure on it. If we could take a look at that. And as you can see here, we have big sand areas, mud flats, and a lot of rock on the south end of the lake. We started off fishing in two groups on the first day. Myself, my dad, and my good friend Brady joined us. We fished down on a couple rocky reefs down here, caught a couple walleyes there, and a few really small perch. But most of the fishing we did, and most of the fish that we ended up catching, came off of a little piece of structure located about right here on the lake. That reef happened to be called Sliver Flat. What it really was is nothing really special. It's about 32 feet deep all around it. And up on top, it got to about 24 feet deep, and it had a little bit of rock on it. And what was happening is out in the mud flats here, we had a lot of insects hatching that time of year, and the perch were out feeding real heavy on those, along with tullibee. And we saw a couple walleyes. We caught one little tiny walleye. I don't think that one made it on the footage. But nothing too special. Once we got out here, we had a handheld GPS with the lake chip in it that enabled us to see these depth contours. And what we did is we got up on top in these little turns and these little points on this reef, and that allowed us to get right on top of where we knew the fish were going to be and enable us to catch pretty much all the fish we caught that weekend. That's going to do it for this week's in-depth segment. Stay tuned on the Iowa State Sportsman Show.
Could you help me across
Welcome back to the Iowa State Sportsman Show. It's time again to answer your questions. Kyle, this first one's for you. Comes from Brady Lee. He asks, what is the most effective way to fish a craw tube, and what is your favorite color?
Well, that's a really good question. I actually learned 2 years ago how to fish a craw tube from a good buddy of mine, Andy Walls. You can never fish a craw tube too slow, in his opinion, which I've definitely seen is true. Basically, what I do is I put it on a Texas rig and I'll throw it out on a weed line or under a dock, and you just let it sit there. I use Lake Fork ones, which are really garlicky and smell really, really bad. So I think just letting it sit there definitely brings those big fish in, gets them to bite. And as far as my colors go, bluegill and killer craw are probably the only two craw tube colors I'll throw.
All right. Nick, we got another question now for you from Hannah Hicks. She asks, are there any wild quail left in Iowa? If so, where are they and what can be done to boost the population?
Yeah, there's a few quail left in Iowa, mostly southern Iowa. They still have stable populations, and then some isolated patches throughout the rest of the state. They're not really a success story here in Iowa because of the loss of habitat through agriculture and other processes, but also the large population of coyotes that we have, and then feral animals such as cats and dogs. I think maybe the key, if we ever were to try to bring the quail back, would be successful land management. Typically, people that manage for deer and turkeys are not managing for species such as quail and pheasants or other upland game. So you don't find populations of them where you find management for other animals. So you really have to be species specific when targeting quail and other birds.
Okay, sticking with the birds, we've got a question from Anthony Smith. He asks, what's your favorite way to cook pheasants?
Oh boy, well my favorite would probably be to take the pheasant breast and cut it up into thin strips and then fry it in a pan with some seasoning. It's pretty simple and pretty tasty.
Oh, it's definitely delicious.
Oh yeah.
If you like cooking a little more, probably one of my favorite recipes is you take the whole bird and then in the cavity you cut up slices of apple and celery and you stuff the cavity full of that. Then you take bacon and wrap it around the whole entire bird and you cook it in the oven real slow for about an hour and a half, and every 15 minutes you take the bird out and you suck up the juices with the syringe, baste it back over the bird, and nothing beats it.
Awesome. All right, with that, we're going to move on to Ben's dad's email video of the week. Sent me this one, and it involves a little bass fishing this week.
Tommy, one of the best moments of the year has got to be Mike Iaconelli literally jumping in the water. Probably one of the most athletic moves ever.
Let's keep it.
Nice catch. That's amazing.
And let's look at this one more time. Super athletic move. And here's the thing to keep in mind. For this to be legal, he's got to keep his hands on the boat. And that he does. Never leaves the boat. And Iaconelli back in legally, and he saves one of those precious fish from Table Rock.
That Mike Iaconelli sure is a strange human.
Yes, he is. And he's known on the tour for doing some pretty crazy stuff, and that's definitely one of the coolest things I've seen.
Definitely awesome. Well, let's come into the end of our fourth show. Wanting you guys to keep checking us out on Facebook and posting those questions. These guys need to answer your questions, and it's real nice to have them around, and they can answer any type of question you got. Also, all our previous episodes and this episode are posted on the ISU TV Club's website. Check us out there. Remember, Thursday nights at 8 on the ISU TV, Channel 18 in Ames and on campus. Thanks for tuning in to the Iowa State Sportsman Show. Have a good week.